there's an argument. People were saying there's always an allegation that I'll put it in courts, that the president is always employing his relatives, but you are not employed.
Do you think I would have been employed in the DPP government?
No. Because of the issues of tribalism and the like.
And also I'm a son of the opposition and all these things.
Opposition, yeah.
Now, so I would have suffered to some extent because of that, politics. Now, do you think I should be employed now? Oh, no, because of politics. So when I ever... so I'm disadvantaged either way. So should the president kill all his family members because they're useless before he's in power, they're useless after they're in power?
Welcome to Podcast with Magnoni. I'm excited today because this is a very special one. When I call it special, this is the very, very special edition where I have Nick Chakwera, Pastor Nick Chakwera, the musician, and so many things. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you so much, Magnoni.
Great. I'm so excited to have you for so many reasons. One, because your dad is he's a president, but because of your music that is out as well. Because I was listening to your music and so amazing. I like it. And I was even asking Trust. What was happening here?
All right. No, I appreciate that you like the music. I'm not, I don't consider myself a singer or a strong voice.
Yeah.
But I decided to put the message that I feel like I'm called to bring to the body of Christ, to the church. I decided to put that in song. So that's why I had to sing it myself in case I have to answer for it.
Yeah, but it's good. We're going to talk about the music in a minute, but I think I wanted us to start with your story.
Okay.
Because I think most of the times when people look at you, they know you're a pastor, they know because you belong to the first family. But the question is, how did it all start? Like, where you were born and all those things?
Where was I born?
Yeah.
Okay. Passport manga nale mbabu. Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
St. Petersburg, which is South Africa. My parents, my dad was in school then, Bible school, with the Nkoma Synod. So that's where I was born. But we have been raised in Malawi. I never get on it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You have experienced the ghetto life?
I'm a Kawale boy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So
your dad was pastoring
at Kawale Assemblies of God, yes, for over 10 years. So I spent most of my young life in Kawale. So, hey, get out my zero.
I think when I saw somehow get on life and experience one or the other. LOEA
school.
You've done an area school?
Yes. Secondary school also, government secondary school.
Government as well.
Wow.
Cool. So let's start from there. Are you the only son within the family?
Yes. I'm the firstborn and also the only boy.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Because I think people ask questions like, okay, who's low key?
Yeah, no, it's 3 girls and 1 boy.
1 boy. Mm-hmm. Amazing. So school you did Kawale or somewhere?
Yeah, well, like standard 1. Okay, let me just try to do it.
Yeah.
Nkara. That
time we were saying Kunkaga.
Yes, that was in Kawale.
Yeah.
Then standard 1 to standard 5 in area 3 in Mbidzi. LEA. Then I went back to Kawale, standard 6.
Yeah.
Then the 2 years of standard 7 and 8, I was in boarding school.
Wow.
So that's the only private school I can say I attended. Boarding school, Lakeview. Kuncheo, Lakeview is a Seventh-day school.
Yeah.
Then secondary school, Nchinji Secondary School.
Yeah.
A government secondary school.
Yeah.
But then, Bible school and my master's and that's sort of stuff.
All right. You did essentially Bible school from the word go.
From secondary school, yes, I went to Bible college. Then we used to call it Assemblies of God School of Theology. And now it's called MAG.
MAG, yeah. All right. Because I remember seeing you a while ago. I think that time I came for a conference of young people.
Okay.
Yeah, so we came that side. I think by that time, I don't know if you were still doing your school, but yeah, people were talking about you then.
You mean like you're talking about years ago?
Yeah, years ago. A conference. I think that time I was maybe 2011.
Oh, okay.
You were still in school?
No. I finished my BA like the year 2000.
2000.
Yeah. Okay. I'm quite advanced.
Yeah, you've been there.
My firstborn is 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah, on the 24th of August. So,
yeah.
Oh,
cool. But yeah, people always say, did you do the pastorhood or the theology because of your dad or because there was some personal conviction?
Yeah, personal conviction, definitely. I remember when I was in Form 3, I used to confess outwardly, publicly, that I'm going to be an accountant like my mom.
Yeah.
But every time I said that, I knew deep down that I'm just cheating myself. Once back to the Lord, because then I was very backslid. So once I'm back to the Lord, I knew that I'm going to ministry. Yeah. I just knew it. I don't remember any angel speaking to me, but I just knew it from way back that I was going to go in ministry. So even when I said I'm going to Bible college, my dad was not happy. He wanted me to go to the proper university and college.
Yeah.
So, of course, he also probably wanted to make sure that I'm convinced that I want to go into the ministry, not just because I'm following his footsteps or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it was my own conviction, definitely.
Yeah, you spoke about being backslidden, like a person who grows in the house of a pastor. Is it possible? Wow. Like you grow holy, everything is already sorted for you?
No. I'm not an angel, never been one. So there was a time I was almost a devil, I guess I can put it that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. You have been a writer for a long time, and I've followed your writings. I remember when I was in school, in college, used to read more about this Faith and Reason.
Yeah, Faith in Malawi News. I used to write.
Then you used to write,
I think from 2008 to around 2017.
Yeah.
For about 8 or 10 or so years. I can't remember now. I have to do the math. I used to write a column every Saturday in Malawi News.
Yeah, true. Because I think most of the arguments or most of the articles that you were presenting were around the existence of God.
Yes.
And I know it's a big topic for you.
Yes.
So break it down for me. Does God exist?
Yeah. I mean, if anything exists at all, we start from there. If there's anything in existence, you can move from that fact to the conclusion that therefore God exists. It's just a few steps to that conclusion. So, okay. If anything is in existence, which is true, you and I are in existence.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking if we were not in existence. It raises a question of where we came from. Are we eternal, or we had a beginning? Once we say we had a beginning, we imply that there was something that began us, because nothing begins its existence out of nothing. So already the fact that we had a beginning leads us to the conclusion there was something outside us that initiated that existence.
Yeah.
But you can't ask that question forever. Logically, you have to come to a place where you say there's something eternal that did not have a beginning that then began everything else. You cannot keep going looking for something that had a beginning that accounts for us. We have to reach the final stage logically of something that is eternal. So something like that, trying to make it sound simple, but
yeah, I know how you've been writing, right? Like there were heavy words that were
maybe 2 or 3 people used to read. I'm glad that
I was reading because I was doing theology then, academic theology.
All right.
So I was interested with the reasoning, the arguments, how they were coming through, and I was like, can people understand this? Because I was a student, I would understand the arguments.
No, it's not everybody. I believe it only reached a few people. That's probably one of the reasons why trying to take the same message in 2 songs, so that at least in the song somebody can say, what is it trying to say? And maybe you get a chance to explain.
That's what I saw in the songs. And we'll talk about it later on, that you were trying to fuse some of these heavy topics and you make them simple in a way.
Yes, that's the challenge of communication. That's the challenge that we have, to communicate truth and stand for truth.
Let's talk about the rise of unbelief right now in this day and age. You have written so much about this. You have been in platforms where you have debated in these issues. How do you relate your understanding of the existence of God, the issues around the deity of God and stuff, with the level of detachment that this generation is having in terms of prayer and everything else around church?
I think it's probably technology, the comfort, and a lot of things that are so fascinating that make us forget the deep questions of life. So in your 24 hours, a chunk of it, you are sleeping. When you are up, you have all these things that are sparkling and they draw your attention away from deep questions of life. So it's our generation. You'll be busy with TikTok. By the time you realize it's 2 hours, so you don't have time to really sit and think about these big questions. So there's something to do with the age, but also I think the technology is also connecting people to many other voices that may bring doubt to the faith. A lot of young people exposed now to skeptics, exposed to unbelievers, exposed to hardcore atheism. And sometimes they are not even ready to handle it because there's a need for some training. There's need for some systematic thought over some of these issues. So people can get lost because they heard something for the first time and it confused them, and they think now that they know. So they make conclusions before thorough investigation.
That's the thing. I think most of the people who tends to be unbelievers in a way, right, through this modern age, are coming from a place of they have heard something they have never heard before around an argument that presents itself like there's nothing else apart from what we have, right? And the moment they counter that, before they even research anywhere, find out what are the fundamentals that I've been believing all along. They just, all along I've been believing a lie. Like you're 28 and you're like, all along I've been believing a lie. Like, how come?
Yeah, no, that's it applies to a number of people that may give up on the faith without a thorough process of thinking through their own faith. There are others who are honest, they're sincere, they're really trying to seek, but they are not convinced yet. That's also another category of people that are sincere but not convinced. That's okay. You can debate those, you can discuss, because apparently they're seeking for the truth. But it's a problem. We can also blame the church, of course, because there are certain things we're only teaching at the Bible school, at the academic theological college, things that belong to the Sunday school, things that belong to the church, where people must learn these things and understand, Otherwise, they will see a Da Vinci Code movie and get all confused because they've never heard these things.
But in theology, we have covered this several times.
Yes. In theology, we go over these things, how we got our Bible, how the Bible was transmitted. And so we are comfortable we don't fret. But for someone who has not heard this, so we can also blame the church. We are not doing a good job educating our people.
Yeah, I think the conversation of why we believe and all those things has always been affected by and sometimes I argue, the modern church ideologies of how we look at God as just solving problems and not necessarily understanding what the scripture says. And this takes me to my other thought, which I wanted to understand from you. How would you look at the modern church's introduction of prophets, new age preachers who, in a way, have brought this doubt, like the cases of the prophet Waguti, prophet Waguti, who's doing some weird stuff to women on camera. And you're like, what is happening? I think this has presented, and when that is brought on social media, people start debating, like, so why do we believe, right? How would you look at this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of distractions, obviously, in the church. We still need a lot of education so that people can learn to separate a good argument for the existence of God, and how that argument still stands even if you had a false prophet doing their own thing. You know, they should be able to separate that this does not therefore mean Jesus is dead, is not alive, it never rose from the dead. You know, it cannot touch the bottom lines. But it's a problem. For us as believers, we should have anticipated those problems. The Bible said there's going to be a lot of false prophets. I also think that it's one of those issues that require church leaders to address openly. And, you know, of course, people are scared. They don't want to look like they're against
a particular person.
I'm personally, because I'm from a Pentecostal background, I'm not against prosperity teaching or expectance of miracles or, you know, some kind of positive thinking, which people say that's new age stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not too much against that if there's a proper motivation behind that message, which is, let's say, gathering resources for the sake of expanding the kingdom. I'm not necessarily against that. I think the main thing is the main thing. For me, the battles within the church are interesting to me, but my particular interest is the battle between the church and the unbelievers who are speaking against the bottom lines, whether God exists, whether Jesus is alive or dead, whether the Bible is the word of God or not. Those are the main things that I have my interest. So these other internal battles within the church, who is interpreting the Bible rightly or wrongly, are interesting discussions, but I might find myself defending a false prophet in the sense that he still claims there's a God and he still claims Jesus is alive. I may find myself defending his beliefs on that. But
but it's interesting about the bottom lines. I think there are very few that talk about the bottom lines, which is not a conversation people are willing to have because it's not exciting.
It's not exciting. It's dry. It's become obvious for some of us here because even you find people are in a drinking place. They know Jesus is the Son of God who died for me and is coming back. You know, the guy is obviously probably not even saved, but they take it for granted. So why discuss the obvious? That's in our world. But in the other countries now, those have become disputed issues so much. People say, no, Jesus never even existed. So it becomes an issue that you have to discuss. Here, we don't argue whether Jesus existed or not.
I think we will discuss that. Let's say in 20 years from now. It's going to be a hot topic. So it will be a bank of resource.
No, what we need to do is to educate the church. Let the church be ready. You know, the Bible says, always be ready to give an answer to anyone who asks you the reason for your belief. It's a command from the scripture. So we need to prepare ourselves for some of these questions.
Interesting. Let's talk about your radio show. You have a radio show. I think It's 10 years
Ring of Truth. Yeah, we've clocked 10 years.
10 years of you being a broadcaster. That's huge.
Yeah.
Consistency.
And again, I don't consider myself a good broadcaster. I probably break all the ruls of broadcasting.
I have watched your show, and yes, I agree.
Okay. Yeah, I suspect. I always suspected that.
Yeah,
but it's still people still love to listen and to talk, to interact. It's a live phone-in program. People ask questions or make comments, Bible issues. So it's the same thing. We're trying to teach the church how to defend our faith.
Yeah.
Like you said, why do we believe what we believe?
Yes.
It's not just what do we believe. We know the what.
Yeah.
We believe God exists. We believe, the Apostles' Creed.
Yeah.
That's what we believe. But why?
Why?
Does it still make sense that to believe that is true, or are we in an age where we need to just throw that out? So that's the aim of the program. But people ask all kinds of questions from the Bible, what they want to be clear about. Sometimes questions that I can't even answer, but that's how it's been. But it's the same effort to try to teach the body of Christ, why we believe what we believe.
Yeah, but congratulations anyway, because it's not easy to sustain a program and to answer these questions for 10 years, right? Some of the questions you have answered them maybe multiple times.
Hey, where did Cain get his wife?
Yes, that question.
The question always comes.
Yeah, so you've answered it several times, but you keep on doing it. Congrats to that, because honestly, broadcasting is not easy. Specifically, it's weekly, right?
It's weekly on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Channel 4 Nations Radio and TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing something.
Yeah.
Weekly. It's not easy. Like I started this podcast a while ago. I made so many breaks in between. Yeah, but I think now we are building.
Of course, I have co-hosts.
Yeah.
3 or so guys who come in sometimes when I'm not around.
Okay.
But we've tried to be consistent that every time,
yes,
we have that program on.
Amazing. Your family, right? How did you meet Rudo? I'll call her Rudo because that's how she's known, because she's an artist as well.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you meet her?
That's a long story.
Just trying to summarize it in a way.
Okay, because I knew about her. The first time that I met her, it was actually during a launch event. A launch event of, was it Pastor Chris Daza? Then he was launching his music. That's a long time ago, in the 90s.
Chris Daza?
Yes.
Who became a producer?
Yes. He was he was at Living Waters then, and he did an album. Okay. So he was launching it at Shefa in the 90s. So this is a funny one, right?
Yeah.
Because the guest of honor of that function was my father.
Yes.
They invited him as the guest of honor.
Yeah.
He was a pastor then.
Yes.
And the MC was Rudo's dad, the late Isaac Nkukuba.
Yes.
So that's the first time.
He was an artist as well, right?
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was a jazz maestro.
Yes.
So playing bass guitar.
Yeah.
But he was the MC then. He used to MC a lot of events, big high-profile events as well.
Okay.
So I noticed her because in that event I was playing drums for a group, an interdenominational praise team that we had at that time. I think we used to call it Jubilee. It was an interdenominational praise group, like United for Worship, something like that. So I was playing drums for that event. We were invited.
Yeah.
So when my dad went up, he was so proud of me. So he said, "That boy playing the drums is my son."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So when Sir Isaac Nkukuba went to the mic again after, because he was the MC.
Yes.
He also said when she sang, I think she did a duet with someone.
Yeah.
That daughter is that girl there is my daughter. So it was like a sort of a laughable moment.
Yeah.
But that's the first time that I sort of saw her.
It's interesting.
Very young.
Yeah.
Then, at some point he was invited at our church. We were doing something with street kids, and that time her song about street kids had just hit the market.
Yeah.
So she was invited at our church for a program to do with street kids.
Yes.
We also met then. I said I was going to make it short, so the rest is history.
Yeah, very interesting because I remember the other time, right? I used to be Living Waters before I went to Assemblies of God. So I was in Blanta at Chimamkunda.
Yes.
So she was a praise team leader.
She
there.
was.
Yeah. So I was like, what was the connection? Because you were here, Gawale, she was there.
Yes.
So yeah, it's interesting to know.
Yeah, no, there's several other things that happened, but that's the brief history.
That's a brief history.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have now?
We have 3 now. God has blessed us with a boy, firstborn, then a girl, then another boy, thirdborn, yeah.
Oh, interesting. No, it's good. I only have 1 kid, so I can't relate having multiple ones. How does it feel to be?
Just discuss it and get done with it as soon as you can.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Let's talk about the music now.
All right.
Your music is reggae. Why reggae?
I like reggae.
Yeah.
It's easier to dance to.
Yeah.
And also it's I only have a bad word to use for it. It's hypnotic. It's got, I think for me, it does it for me. It's repetitive. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it can take you somewhere.
Yeah.
So I like reggae. I'm a musician.
Yeah.
So obviously I like every form of music.
Yes.
I like jazz. I like black gospel. Some forms of music I don't, particularly like very much, but as a musician, I enjoy all sorts of music.
Yeah, and you also do. I think I've also seen you liking hip hop. I remember a while ago you used to dress in the hip hop.
Oh no, that was just trying to be a youth pastor.
To blend in as a youth pastor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like hip hop. I listen to it, but at some point when we were young, we were trying to imitate. Then it was the MC Hammers and Vanilla Ice, memorizing their lyrics.
Yeah.
But I have never been strong or good, really, at twisting the tongue. So but I like hip hop. Yeah.
Let's talk about your music. As I said, that I listen to it. The reggae is good. I have been, in fact, the only CD I have in my car is a reggae.
Okay. Yeah. So you're a reggae fan.
Yes. So yes, trust. Share me the CD. You can come in on the camera. Okay. The good thing with the podcast.
Yeah. So you're breaking the rules like I do.
We do.
In my program.
In your program. That's why I found it interesting because of that. Okay. Because when everything is like structured, so you're like, But yes, I saw this. And then there was, we'll talk about the essence of the music, but Asabu and the Gentiles. I've heard people like calling you Asabu. What's the story around it?
Okay. Excuse me. There was a time I was doing a recording in 2000, I think, and 1.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2003, somewhere there. I can't remember very well. Maybe 2003.
Yeah.
I was doing a recording of some music. My intention was not to launch it or make it public, but just to use it as a point of fundraising. So I would go to someone and say, hey, buy this, buy this, buy that. So, so in that studio, it was Fire Mix Studio belonging to Mahara Mahango, Gift Mahara Mahango.
Yes, Gift.
So he used to call me Asabu there. Like it's the reverse of Abusa.
Abusa,
the way we do things. Speaking like young people, we reverse the words sometimes, the syllables. So he used to say Asabu, Asabu. So it just stayed with a few people, and then from then until now, a lot of people at our church used to call me Asabu. So it's Abusa, but in
reversed in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. That's really interesting. But there's now the title. Nyimbo Zaji Sosombeso. Like, what is happening here?
Okay.
First of all, you're Asabu, and then Sosombeso.
I need to explain the Gentiles as well. Because
yes, and the Gentiles.
The Gentiles, I like that name because sometimes we think it means the unbelievers.
Yeah, because how it came through in the Bible.
Yeah, it's like we are emphasizing, talking about the unbelievers, Agirigasa, or the people that don't want God. That's not what the Bible means by Gentiles. Gentiles is just English for the Hebrew called Goyim, which Chichewa means Mafuko, or in English you could say the ethnic groups. So Gentiles just means the nations. The nations, not as in Malawi, but as the Chewa nation, the Lomwe nation, the Gujarat nation, the
Tumbuka nation.
The Tumbuka nation.
Yeah.
So it's when the Bible is talking about the gospel going to the nations, to the Gentiles, it's talking about all of us. So it's a missional term. It's some missiology there.
Yeah, there's some missiology there. And missiology is something that you understand if you go to Bible school.
That's why I'm saying our education in the church leaves a lot to be desired.
Yes, there's a lot that has to be done. But so the Gentiles, I heard some beautiful melodies, honestly. I'm backing you. Good vocals.
Yeah, I know those are pros.
I was like, what is happening here? Because you see, when you are in most of the churches, right, when people are singing, there's a lot of noise, right? The vocals are not good as you would expect them. But what I got here was amazing.
No, it's the pros. Gab's mentee is he came
so
up,
Gabs is in?
Yes, and his group. Gab, I think whenever we used to have these singing competitions, was it E-Wallet or something like that? He came in the top 5 some year.
Yeah.
So he's quite solid. He's good, and the two girls there are part of his team that they do things together a lot. So I asked them to help. So
no. Honestly, the vocals are good. Your flow of putting the messaging was interesting. As I said, that I know that you are a person who's really in the theological content, and I was interested to hear how you're going to present it. But I saw that you're doing a lot of affirmations, things that would look basic, but these are the things that will be missing in a few years to come, because that's how the world is receiving Christianity, like in a different way than the content that you're presenting, which is raw and solid.
Yeah, no, it's tough to try to communicate something, but that was the attempt to bring this, to explain these songs fully.
Yeah,
I think it's a semester worth of training for each of those songs.
Yes.
Yeah, because for example, I'm just going to get right into it. For example, the first song is titled Allergic to Nonsense. That's basically introduction to logic. So for you to teach that whole course, it requires a whole semester. So that people are able to know what are fallacies, what is correct way of thinking, what is the incorrect way of thinking.
Yes.
And how do you know that this conclusion is matching the reasons given?
The premise that you're using.
Yes. I didn't even want to use that word, premise. But you see, so that's a whole course. But to try to put it into 2 verses alone, and how that people need to be challenged to think, to use their mind.
Yes.
It saddens me that we are in an age where fake news gets believed. Just like that, and like
people can question
what is wrong with you? I think now we should start blaming people who believe fake news now, rather than just blaming the people who create the fake news.
Who created it? But why are you even thinking about it? Why are you even believing it? Have you thought about it?
We need critical thinking to reach the levels where somebody can just say, don't waste my time here. This is, you know. So that's what I'm trying to do in that song.
Communicate, allergic to nonsense. Well, okay, before we go to some of the songs, nyimbo za sosombeso.
Yes.
Sosombeso.
Okay, there's a word. I didn't make up that word either.
Pastor at church, Pastor Luesha was announcing this song. So like, Pastor Dick has nyimbo za sosombeso. So because of his Zambia background, I was like, probably he's making a mistake.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, we are used as Assemblies of God to nyimbo za chitsitsimutso.
Yes.
So I was playing words with that to put this chitsotsombetso, but it's coming from the word kutsotsombeto. It's a word that we use in our radio program.
Yeah. Yes. I'm related now.
Yes. It's like the English for it, contending for the way, the truth, and the life. So in Chicha, I like to say kutsotsombeto, kukazi kisajuana dinjira ndimoya. So it's a word that can't really be defined, but for me, it describes contention, debating, or cornering someone.
Yes.
But it can also mean just hustling. You know, ugulisema CD or ziende venebo. You know, that's like, so that's the word that we use, and I didn't make it up. I stole it from the guys from Flood Church. Pastor Alfred loves that word. Sean Campanan used to love that word at some point. So, you know.
Oh, yes. I remember now. Yeah, they used to use the word as well.
Yeah, so I just took it. So, Chitsotsombetso means these songs were trying to
present
contend for the gospel, like for standing for truth, fighting for truth, that kind of thing.
Interesting. Locus reminds me of the Bible school.
Yes.
Like, are we in the Bible school?
Or even mathematics, because I think that word locus, loci,
it's
center.
So Greek somewhere there.
Yeah, it means basically center.
The center of something.
The center of something. So I'm trying to make the point that God is the center of good. If there's no God, there's no good. Forget all these complaints against Christianity or against the Bible or against believers, against the church would disappear if there's no good or evil. Because what are you complaining about? There's no good or evil.
Yeah.
But if you say, no, there's good and there's evil, then you are also saying that therefore there's a God. Because you can't have good or evil. You can't have good without God. That's what I'm trying to argue.
That's what you're trying to argue there. There's no ganja. Reggae music is about.
Say what?
There's a song number 7, no ganja.
Yes.
And usually, most of the times, reggae music is all about that kind of vibe. Are you trying to debunk some myths around it?
Well, okay. The point of the song, the main point of the song is that God is a spirit, and they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. Yeah. So, if you want to connect with God, Jah, it's not about the place, like the temple where you are, or whether you're in Jerusalem, or whether you have a certain band on your hand, or whether you have certain holy water, or whether you have this holy weed that you're smoking. So that was the basic point of the song. Because some people justify smoking ganja to say that it helps them in their spirituality, to connect with Jah. So I'm just trying to say, no. It's much simpler than that. There's no physical thing that connects us to God. It's faith. It's spirit. But also, again, I feel like not trying to attack the Rasta movement, but I'm not happy that this movement has just become about ganja, about getting high, about feeling high.
And like any other conversations that were there, which is about freedom and all those things.
Yes. So I share common ground with the Rasta movement, the original Rasta movement for black liberation, black empowerment, and all these things. But it seems like somebody has twisted things to where now we're just fighting for legalization of marijuana. And that's it.
And it ends there.
And so when we get high, we jam, we scream our passion for justice, and then it ends there. So it's also a way of trying to say, no, let's go back to the original black liberation push so that we can see Africa rise.
That's the truth. I think I don't know why the Rasta movement lost that touch, because that touch is coming through right now. People are trying to have these conversations about liberalization or making sure that black people should have a say and all those things. Those were the messages then. But now people are trying to glorify ganja as if that's the essence of the whole thing.
I have my conspiracy mind sometimes at work.
Yeah.
My theory is that the people that don't like black liberation are the ones who behind the scenes, they'll fund the movement to legalize all these things so that they just keep us high and distracted and in fantasy land so that we don't deal with the problems on the ground.
Yes.
They're the same ones who would make the reggae musicians popular. They own the studios, they own the distribution networks, and they can just make you popular and you are rich and you are satisfied that that's
this is
it.
okay for me.
So as long as they see you jamming and idle without doing anything else, they're fine.
Yeah.
At least you vent out in your song and in your jam. You vent out your passion for justice, but you don't do anything else.
You don't do anything because
I'm more like no.
Something's wrong.
This thing is going to kill our brains. Let's leave it aside. Let's deal with the real issues on the ground.
Yeah.
Where is Africa now? Where is Africa supposed to be?
Yeah. But finally, on the songs for me is I've seen that you've featured your wife in 2 songs, which is a good thing. So do you have jam sessions at home?
Not really. Like I said, I'm not a singer per se. If we have a jam session, then maybe if I'm on a piano and she wants to sing or I want to play with just a bit of worship, but not that I will have a microphone and sing along. Okay, maybe when we are doing family devotions, obviously we'll sing. Sometimes I play guitar.
Oh, okay.
But not jam sessions proper. Not jam sessions proper.
Okay. Yeah. How many instruments do you play?
How many instruments do I attempt? That's a good question.
So not play, right? You're not a pianist like Trust.
No. Trust in Mirunda. But I was young. The first instrument I learned to play was the drums. So the very first time that I played in church for a service, I was 10 years old.
Wow.
So that was it. I mean, that was young then, but my son sometimes is already playing and he's 5. So that's better for him.
Yeah.
But I used to play accordion. My dad had bought an accordion before I was even born. So I used to play the accordion. It helped me introduce to the piano.
Yeah.
A little bit of guitar, a little bit of piano, a little bit of bass, a little bit of trumpet. There was a time I was experimenting with trumpet, harmonica. So
wow. Oh, you have attempted so many.
The wind instruments, the sax is what I didn't. They're so rare here, so I never got a hold of those.
But anyway, I'm so happy for you to come up with this one. It's volume 1. My assumption is there's volume 2.
There's got to be volume 2 because there's lots and lots of issues we haven't dealt with.
Yes. There's so many things. I think these are 10. You're talking allergic to
so
nonsense.
That's logic.
Trilemma.
The trilemma or trilema, however you want to call it. That's talking about the deity of Christ, basically. Is Christ God?
Do you understand the deity of Christ? The conversations of theology.
Is Jesus God or not? So that's what the song is about.
Wow.
In
Ntafonsa.
Discussed a little bit about the resurrection and the existence of God in that song.
Okay, then we have Locust, we've spoken about it. There's Intano Kono.
That's about evolution. Did we come from monkey-like creatures or not? Or are those just modern myths?
Interesting. Musape.
That's on abortion.
Yes, you've tackled this thing of abortion. I'm not going to get there because I know it's a long one. I also have a bunch of other questions I wanted to check on that. But there's no ganja and there's nothing but the blood.
That comes from the program, there's a lot of questions. How do we get saved? Is it works? Is it keeping the Sabbath? Is it skipping pork? All those things. So it's just to make the point that
it's nothing.
It's nothing but the blood. If you think there's anything else to add to the blood, you're saying the blood is not enough, or you're saying it's not necessary, which is a big insult to the one who shed it.
Yeah.
And also
yeah, interesting. Ambuya Kalinano.
Yeah, that was about the resurrection also.
Oh, now
this is
Ambuya Kalinano.
Because he's alive, so I can say Ambuya Kalinano. If he was dead, I wouldn't waste time saying God be with you, or may the Lord be with you.
Yeah, perfect. There is Madi and Jeza.
Yeah, that's to do with the modern prophetic movement that is errant. One that is. Yeah, I'm not saying we should never have prophets, or I'm not saying pastors are the ones that are holy, or evangelists are the ones that are angels. We have a lot of issues with pastors as well as evangelists, apostles. But the prophets at this time are the ones that are.
And the prophetic movement is doing so much of damage to the conversations that are basic. And problem is, my thinking is they have lost these bottom lines. They're never discussed in their presence, apart from other things that are cosmetic.
Yeah, some of them are so disappointing.
Yeah,
you can actually just say these are not prophets called of God. These are false prophets.
Yeah,
some of them are prophets called of God, making mistakes like you would have in any other case of a pastor or a man of God. There are also false pastors. There are also false evangelists, false apostles.
Yeah.
But not just picking on prophets. Maybe Volume 2 can pick on
the rest of pastors, the evangelists, and the like.
Yeah.
But this is it. Nyimbo Zachi So Beso from Asabu and the Gentiles. How much is it?
2,000.
Very cheap. Are you even covering the cost of production? Okay. Yeah, because this cover, the printing of it, the CD.
Yeah, no, it's anyway, good enough to reprint further.
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
The hope is that somebody can get it easily and then begin the conversation.
Yeah. I'm a reggae person. I love reggae. For whatever reason, I think my dad introduced me to it.
Okay.
So I listen to a lot of reggae.
That's good.
One, because the content is clear. You don't have to race with someone how they are saying words. Plus, even the messaging is about liberation. So I go back to in fact, I only listen to Lucky Dube because of the messaging that he has on so many things, unity and so forth.
Right.
So I'm going to get this here. So I'm going to buy mine. Hopefully you get yours as well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But let's talk now about other things. Politics. Because in a way, right?
I thought we were done.
No, we almost. Don't worry. We almost. Politics. You are the only existing son of the president of Malawi. That's a huge thing. How does it feel? What was happening during that day when the announcement was happening?
No, I think I recognize that it's by grace. It's by grace. It's not that he's the most clever guy or the most wealthy guy.
Yeah.
Sinali zaudolo kapena zandarama, or that he's the master strategist. It's by grace. Yeah. So I recognize it as something by grace, which means it's God giving him a duty. And we are responsible to make sure that we pray for him and we help him to succeed. Because if he succeeds, all of us are going to succeed. If he fails, we would have wasted our time as a nation. Yeah.
Are you standing in 2025?
Standing?
Yes, it's a politician. Like,
for
an MP position or something.
You know what? I actually wanted to try Zawe MPs in was it 20? I was talking about it in 2011, 2012. Before even my dad announced any interest in politics, in active politics.
Yeah.
So I had the interest already. But right now, the reason I would want to be an MP was so that tikapita ku parliament uchemba tizikatsotsombesana sana bwino which policies should we enact as a nation. Because that's some things that get pushed on us by
the foreign agenda,
neo-colonialism, and all these things. So my interest was, I think, let me go right there so that if there's need for debate, we should debate there. So that was my main drive. But I think I'm convinced now that I can still contribute to that debate in other ways. So I don't need to be an MP to contribute to that debate. I think I'm convinced. So I don't think I'll be standing in 2025.
Okay. You sure?
I'm almost sure, yeah.
You have influence.
Yeah, but I will try to use that influence in other ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There is now the issue to do with corruption. I know you've been mentioning in so many publications of people who had assumptions of you being connected to different corruption cases. And I think outside the case in question, the other one that you were associated with, Mr. Mumba, it's a good friend of mine as well. And there was an allegation that someone on social media had put of you. And I think you had taken the person to court and you won. How does it give you pressure? Because everyone can say anything about you.
Yeah, no, in short, I'm not worried if people say anything about me.
Yeah.
But if their aim is to tarnish my father, because I don't think I'm a threat to anyone, that they're really concerned about making me look bad. I don't think that's the point. Their point is to make him look bad. So when that happens, then I can't just stand idle. That's a fight that I have a duty to fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was once, maybe twice.
Yeah, because I know
maybe 3 times. I'm not sure. But until people learn to be responsible with what they say, we need to keep fighting, because it's not just fighting for me. If they can do that with me, it means they can do that with anyone.
And they can touch the images like that.
Yes. So nobody should have the liberty to assassinate someone's character, and they feel like they can get away with it. We should have a culture where people are responsible with what they say. If they have good evidence, they're always welcome to the right authorities to pursue justice if it's justice that they want.
Yeah.
But without that, we have a duty to fight. So it's not that I'm concerned about my name.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to talk about other things that have nothing to do with making my father look like a crook or like a corrupt person, then I don't pay attention to those. And some of the issues that you're talking about, nameless articles, people that have no names or fake names, that's already a sign of fake news. So sometimes I don't pay attention to those. But if somebody has his own name and they're making a careless statement, then I'll definitely seek legal redress.
It's interesting. I've been watching from afar. Like, oh, fine, I think it's not that easy to be in the Fresh family, because everything that you touch, everything that you do, everyone is just looking for a story.
No, it's the way it is. We try to be careful. I know, like I said, I'm not an angel or any of that. But if it comes to ill will, ill motives, or to use Daws's word, malafide, bad faith, then we cannot just sit back. It's going to be irresponsible. We will be answerable before God. Why did you tolerate nonsense?
Yeah, true. So when it comes to your dad, do you guys hang out? I know there's a culture that is, I think, around in the papers that there's a family gathering every Sunday where you just talk about family and stuff. It's still happening?
No, it's just lunch together.
Yeah.
It's basically just lunch. So the
Still
kids
happening?
are there. It's not like, it still happens. It's not like gathering where you're talking about political issues as such. It's just whatever comes. It's just the kids are there. Someone is playing. Someone is crying. Someone is enjoying the food. Someone is not enjoying the food. It's just lunch.
That kind of setup.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you this because I think, I don't know, do you discuss politics with him? Like having conversations like, or how do you look at Malawi? These kind of things. Or you guys don't talk about it at all?
It's not systematic, but whatever comes, it comes. Obviously, if something is in the news, somebody can bring it up. Somebody can laugh about it.
Yeah.
Somebody can be upset about it. So we just talk, but we are not making policy or sitting down to discuss strategy or any of those things.
You don't provide advisory. Like people are like this. Okay, I have questions from, like, I'm going to give you the final set of questions. These are coming from the group. So I have the podcast as a group. So I usually tell people in advance, I have this guest, what questions would you have? So of course, most of them were like, we're interested because of that. Do you have access? And I want to filter some of the questions by knowing that. And would you have an opportunity to provide advisory in any way?
First of all, I'm not his advisor.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not officially an advisor. But mainly, I would say I trust him. So I don't feel the need to say, oh, do this, oh, do that. No, I don't feel that need. I trust him. He's got lots and lots of people around him. And he hears a lot more than I know. So sometimes I may think this is what is happening, and yet maybe there's more information than I have. So I have done that since he declared his interest in politics.
Yeah.
Even when he was leader of opposition, I've never been the one who goes and says, oh, this issue, oh, that issue.
Yeah.
So if something comes up, it's just in a conversation. It's not like I'm bent on providing guidance or providing this or that. I trust his judgment. Yes.
Did you get angry? We were supposed to do a podcast a while ago, but because of electricity. So you become angry, tell me, can you fire the board? They're not doing enough.
No, I don't feel that's my place. Like I said, I trust his judgments.
Yeah.
And probably if he would want my advice, he would ask, but I've not been that kind of person.
Yeah.
So I focus on other things. He should not be worried about family. So I'm making sure that all those things are fine. But I'm not the kind of person who wants, because everybody feels like it's like somebody is in the ground and you are at the stands, and you feel like this is how they should be playing the ball. I don't like that anyway.
You don't like that.
So I trust him and I pray for him. And if I have any information that he needs to know, I'll put it on his table. But that's his table to decide what piece of information he's gonna use in his decision.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So okay, quick questions from the supporters of the show. One is, what do you think about Malawi's development now, and what do you think about where we're going?
I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. I'm not speaking on behalf of the party or MCP or on behalf of the State House or on behalf of Malawi government.
Yeah.
I'm speaking on my own behalf.
Yes, that is clear.
Yes.
That is very clear, speaking on his own behalf. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of systems that need to be rebuilt. But Malawi's development is possible if we are united and if we support the leadership. Because for some people, they would rather a project stalls or they would rather a project never happens. So that maybe it gives chance to whoever they would love to see at the helm of leadership.
Yeah.
So some people, it's total malafide. They have bad faith. They would rather there was nothing that happened.
Yeah.
But no, I think if we have good faith, all of us want development to happen and we support each other, development can happen. I think the fundamentals are changing. That's my view.
Yeah.
The fundamentals are changing. Maybe a quick example can be, just one example, a quick example can be the fact that the railway system is being rehabilitated and redone. It has been dead for the last, 30 years.
Yeah.
It's being redone. That's a fundamental.
Yeah, that's a fundamental.
If the railway was working as it's supposed to be, they say that we can reduce our transport costs by 41 million US dollars as a country in a year.
Wow.
So imagine if it was working well and everything was reduced like that, we wouldn't, if fuel price increases, everything increases.
Yeah.
So it means that it's the transport issue that also affects our economy. So that's a fundamental change.
Yeah.
Once we have the railway rehabilitated, we have changed it for generations to come. It's a fundamental change. So I think there are several fundamentals that are happening. They're talking about reestablishing MDC, Malawi Development Corporation, those kind of things. Access to information is a fundamental change.
Yeah.
Openness, so that there is more exposure to corruption and all that. The reason we were able to expose the corruption of the COVID funds is the access to information bill that was enacted and signed by this government, and they were able to see the details. We didn't have that before.
Yeah.
And there are things that are getting reviewed that happened before this government, but it's being reviewed now because there's access to information.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental change. So there are several fundamentals, I think, that are adding up. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about, see this road there, see this construction there. Malawi is like a construction zone. But once we get the fundamentals right, the economy, the money, all these projects can be done.
You spoke about malafide, or maybe I would call it sabotage in a way, right?
Bad faith, yeah.
Yeah, bad faith. There's this, one of the questions was talking about the issue to do with do you feel the government is not being fierce enough to people that are slow, people that are putting things, maybe there's a good birth kind of progress, there's good vibe, 2063 agenda, want to do this, we want productivity to be like this, efficiency to be like this, but other people are still backwards. Do you think they're too lenient?
That's a good question. In my opinion, dictatorship is easy. If there's any form of leadership that is easy, it's dictatorship, because you use force. So whether somebody agrees or not, they have to do it or else. But in a democracy, you have to convince people to make a decision to support you. So it's not that easy. But at the same time, in a democracy, you have to stick to systems. So the systems are broken. They've been complaining about even the procurement system itself.
It takes forever.
It's designed to delay things.
It's designed to fail.
It's designed to upset the investors and all these things. So that system has to be corrected. The president has expressed already publicly his desire that procurement should be maximum of 21 days. And they're trying to work to make sure that system works. So that's a fundamental change that's coming also. I've heard that they have even digitized their information flow so that they can tell where an issue is at. Which desk is at. Yes, the PPDA,
they were launching at BSS.
They've launched it, yes. So that they can tell that, okay, this issue was supposed to be on this desk. This is the guy responsible why it's slow. Then you can call that person and say. So that's a fundamental change. It can help procurement process. So I don't know if they are too lenient or not. But all I can say is that the systems have to change, and it should be easier to identify who the culprit is, who is sitting on what file, and of course there must be consequences that are already democratically endorsed in our parliaments for people who do silly things like that.
Yeah, because for me, I've always asked that question. Like, someone would be known that this person is messing up, delayed maybe to approve something they're supposed to approve 2 months ago, and they go scot free like that. Like I had a guest who was suggesting that if you're talking about reforms, you want to change how things are done, you need to to touch where people, like, the space where people are protected most, which is their contracts. Why are government contracts like for eternity? When if you want to change people, or if you want to get to attract new talent in the workforce, you would say we're going to be doing 2 years or 3 years contract or 4 years contract, and your renewal will be based on performance. So people that delay, that derail things, would be known, that will be put on the performance, and something will be done about it. But
well, that has been mentioned. That has been, I think that's the direction.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get there. I also trust that the new SPC, Secretary to the President and Cabinet, is all about enforcing those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I believe that we'll get there. But it's not, philosophically, there's a balance. We want people to be settled in their job to one extent, because otherwise they may also say this thing can slip away from me anytime. Why should I bother? Or sometimes you also don't want them to have the attitude where they feel like they can't be moved. So there's also a balance there, because I don't think you would want to work for someone when you think any day you can be fired. You still want to have a basic sense of settledness, but at the same time, you should also know that your performance matters. If you don't perform, you must be not surprised, but well communicated to why you have to be thrown out.
Yeah.
So those kind of things, applies to systems. Like I said, dictatorship is easy, but when you're dealing with democracy and systems, you have to make sure the systems are strong, the institutions are strong. Then it doesn't depend on a person; it depends on what you have agreed as a system, as a society.
Yeah, people have argued that Malawi doesn't need democracy now; needs someone who can rule with an iron fist. Not in a way of punishing people unnecessarily, but in a way where people are given more or less, like if someone messes up deliberately, someone has some power to an extent to bring them to book in a way that doesn't, because people have found the course to be the place where they can find their solace. So they will stay there, get the best lawyers around, and it will drag for the next 20 years, and they die, and then the issue ends.
Yeah, it's true. I would disagree that we don't need democracy. We do need democracy, and more of it.
Yeah.
Where, let's say the whistleblowers are protected and those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think we need more democracy. That's how we can mature faster. If we are going to be a productive nation, we can't be a productive nation by stick, all the time being whipped into shape. We need to be people that are each one is using their humanity to make the right decisions and to do the right things. Then we can be productive. Then we can see true transformation. But if it only has to rely on one person, the rest have the same mentality, no mindset change, then we can't build a nation like that.
Yeah.
We have to let the systems be strong, the institutions be strong, and people are on their toes because of the institutions and the systems, not because of one person.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe something relating to that. What do you think about the tribalist mindset that we have as a country?
It's a curse. It's sad. It is the most annoying thing I think I can think of about politics in Africa or in Malawi. So I hope that when it's 2064. When we have clocked 100 years, I hope we will not be talking about this. Unfortunately, it seems to me that the generation of these elders have passed on this tribalism to us younger people.
Yeah.
And it seems like we love it so much that we may pass it on to our young ones, which is sad. But I also think that there's hope. We can beat it. it's tribalism actually.
Because that's the thing. Because everything around politics is tribal. Is something around that. And maybe Let me just finish with the questions. I think 2 more to go. There's an argument. People were saying there's always an allegation. I'll put it in courts, that the president is always employing his relatives, but you are not employed. Do you feel anything? That's the argument.
Okay. Well, obviously that is wrong, because you can say he's always employing his relatives. Then it's overstating the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else asked me that question. The way I answered it was that first of all, we don't have a law right now against employing your relatives.
Yeah.
So because of that, we need a bit of clarity. Whether the clarity is going to come from Parliament, let them debate it and discuss, say, to what extent can somebody employ their relative. I don't know if they will come out and say, no, don't employ your relatives, kill them all. I don't think they can they can go to that extent.
Yeah.
So there's no clarity. For me, I think when there's no clarity like that, there are concerns only. The concern will be justified if there's an overwhelming sense that there's this nepotism or favoritism based on relations or blood or origin. There should be an overwhelming sense of it, because there's no clarity, there's no definition in the laws. So there has to be something that is overwhelming. If it's not overwhelming, then maybe you're overstating the case. So for me, I don't think it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming noise, but not overwhelming reality. Because I don't know if you can even mention all these fingers, 10 fingers of the people that are supposedly employed as relatives. But another practical thing I can say is that I don't think it's wrong, because we've always done it. Even Kamuzu had relatives that worked in the embassies. Bakiri, his own sister, Mrs. Esnat, Muluzi, Peter, I think, used to work. Bingu had his brother as advisors at some point, even at the State House. Joyce, his own sister, was the head of household at the State House, and she still helps him now, which means it's an advantage if you have your relative, because they will not abandon you when you lose power. Peter had his nephews, nieces, and so I think it has to be overwhelming when it comes to the place where you know that every level of government, the PS, the directors, the minister, it's all, when you look at the names, you know where they're coming from. When it becomes overwhelming, it's an issue of nepotism. But not just 1, 2, and then it becomes. For me, maybe it's blowing out of proportion. But if somebody is qualified at some point, okay. The other point that you have to remember is, do you think I would have been employed in the DPP government?
No. Because of the issues of tribalism and the like.
And also I'm a son of the opposition and all these things. Now, so I would have suffered to some extent because of that, politics. Now, do you think I should be employed now? Oh no, because of politics. So so I'm disadvantaged either way. So should the president kill all his family members because they're useless before he's in power, they're useless after they're in power? These are things that we should be critical about, I think.
It's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting conversation. But
I'm just being honest.
Do you want a job?
No, I don't think. I already have a job. I'm a pastor.
Pastor.
I'm a missions director in the Assemblies of God. We call it Central Division. And so that's what I can say.
Okay. Last one. This person said, how do you rate the current government from a scale of 1 to 10? I know it's a difficult one for you, but I'm going to give it to you.
How do I rate? I rate it 15. I have to be biased at some point. At some point, I have to be biased. So
Yeah.
I'll rate it 15. Because, like I said, it's a democracy. You have to convince people to support you. And though he's the first president to lead a coalition of 9 or so parties.
Yeah, in Malawi, yeah.
Some of whom may have their own agendas, maybe not. But just to do that is not a small issue in itself. And then to do it at a time when you have COVID destroying the world's economies in a space of 2 to 3 years, I don't think that's a small issue either.
Yeah.
COVID has definitely affected the economies, and even right now, the European economies are at the brink of falling. There's a global recession looming as we speak.
It's almost, people are arguing that it's there, but people are hiding the name.
Yes,
they don't want to put the name
so
to it.
So that is not easy to lead in such a time. The Ukraine war, whether we like it or not, affects everything. It affects fuel, which affects everything. It affects fertilizer, which affects the things that are important to us. So if the people that supply fertilizer are worried about the Ukraine war, they will jack up the prices immediately to be safe, because the risk is higher now.
Yeah.
So it affects everything. If somebody wants to pretend it doesn't affect everything, I want somebody to tell me, to produce one business person who finds it easy now to go and order their merchandise in Zambia or Tanzania or South Africa. If they can find somebody who's saying, hey, things are now good in Zambia, I'm ordering stuff and I'm making a killing in my business, I'll find 10 who are keeping their money because they went and they came back and said, it's not going to work at this time.
Yeah.
So things are tough.
Yeah, things are tough. I think, I don't know what is happening, but I think people are comparing a lot with Zambia in terms of how they have accelerated in a way with some development. Have you ever heard about it?
I see it, but I cannot, honestly, I have not studied enough to really compare whether the fundamentals are the same that they had and what we had here. You remember that it's an open secret that the fundamentals were cooked up.
Yeah.
The IMF was told lies about our status, our forex status, and all these things. The figures were cooked up and all these things.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether the fundamentals are the same there or not.
Yeah.
I don't think if somebody tells me that, for example, HH has ended blackouts, for example.
He's arguing.
Yes, I saw. So I don't think whether that means that within 365 days they have put a new power plant or not. I don't know what that means, or whether they have lost a power plant like we lost Kapichira and then they have done that. So I don't know if the fundamentals are the same. I would have to study this whole issue to be objective and say, I think Ababa, we are seeing the end result, but I want somebody to tell me the full story before I say I agree or I don't.
I agree with your argument. I think the fundamentals have to be checked, and whether for instance, in the issue of blackout, is it an issue that there was inefficiencies in the production and the like?
Yes.
And here, is it an issue of inefficiency as well, or is it an issue of
capacity
and the like? Because it's quite sad, honestly.
No, it is bad. It's not just sad. It is.
Because the people that access power, because I think 17 to 20% somewhere there.
I think you're being generous.
Yeah.
And I used to know 7% at some point. I don't know when it changed.
Yeah. And then you ask questions to say, how are we going to make it in this rate? So I hope things are happening. I saw there was a conversation in Parliament of Genco and ESCOM. They were fighting each other.
Yes.
I hope that will yield something, because otherwise these things are bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to discuss it. The more we discuss it, the better, because maybe something will be clear, will become clearer, and the path will become clearer. I think the more we talk about it, the better. It's not acceptable that in the 21st century, we should be experiencing things like this. No, it's not acceptable.
No. If you those are the basics of a human life, specifically power, water, security, and all those things. And
that's true. I agree. Electricity has become a matter of life and death now.
Yeah. True. Anyway, that's it from the group. But the last question that I always ask people here is about legacy. how do you want people to remember you as later on in life?
It's not
like you're gonna die or anything. Of course, we will all die. But the thing is, how are you building your legacy? How do you want people to?
I think for me, my calling is Christian apologetics, to use a big word for some.
Yeah, for some.
Not apologizing for Christianity.
It's not apologizing for Christianity.
Sorry, I just have to believe that Jesus is the Lord. No. It's not about apologizing. It's defending the faith. So that's my calling. Obviously, I want to do more. I have not done all I can. I hope, to do more. God gives me grace to live. That's what I hope to do. Write more books, do more songs, communicate in all ways possible.
Yeah.
Fight for resources so that we can do that well.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, my main thing, to be able to help someone understand the faith better, to be able to help someone answer, especially the one who is struggling to believe, the one who's struggling to understand. If I can help them, I think that would be it for me.
Okay, cool. Is there a reason I don't see you in the papers as well? Writing and the Wonder is more available, or you're still sharing the column?
No. I never used to share columns with any of
Was it
the
Faith
humanists.
and Reason?
The Faith and Reason, I sort of stopped writing it maybe 2017, somewhere there, but it had nothing to do with anyone or whatnot. So I don't know, maybe I just grew tired. We to be honest, we never really had a solid contract of how many years I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I just quit doing it. It's not necessarily that I had to stop because of politics or anything like that, but I just stopped. Try to compile those things in one book at some point. But
it'll be an interesting one for people that are thinking of study theology, or people that are interested in the hard conversation.
So, but we have other means of doing this apologetics. So I have radio still, trying music now. Who knows? Maybe we should do a movie someday. I don't know. We can probably have a script that can communicate the same kind of message somehow. Books, like I said. Maybe have community rallies. I don't know. We might try all sorts of things. But basically, I think I'm done with the paper.
Perfect, man. I really appreciate for you to come. For us, we believe in people that are pushing, people that are creating content, but also people. If you look at the description of this podcast, is about development, it's about entertainment, it's about theology at the end. Because the essence why I created this was basically just to do that. But also I believe in businesses, specifically to buy people. Black people need to promote each other.
That's cool.
This is the time. And I believe young people are at the center of that. You people that are in that grown-up age, you have seen so much. I think this is the time that you have to encourage more entrepreneurial and adventurous.
I think we have a lot of common ground. I really like it.
So cool. Until next time. But I shouldn't forget. So I know you come from the big house that side. So this podcast has to be sponsored. So guys, I hope after speaking to the president side, we'll get a sponsorship. In either way, we can promote music, we can promote anything that comes there, but also we can have conversations, specific conversations that are sponsored in a way. This platform basically is about that. It's about the Black person, but also everyone, but making sure that we are growing together, we're building together, and so forth.
No, that's inspiring, man. I'll say more after the podcast.
All right. So until next time, like, subscribe, be part of this community. And see you in the next one.